In 1969, Pierre Trudeau decriminalized homosexuality in Canada. "There's no place for the state in the bedrooms of the nation," Trudeau famously said. On Tuesday, his son Justin Trudeau took steps to complete what his father started 50 years ago. He introduced a bill to expunge the historic criminal records of those who were convicted for having consensual same-sex relations before 1969, and he promised $100 million to compensate the hundreds of Canadian men and women who were investigated, persecuted, and driven out of the public service or the military because of their sexual orientation. That persecution went on long after 1969. From the 1950s right through to the 1990s, suspected homosexuals in the federal public service and in the Canadian military were subject to surveillance, arrest, and dismissal. It was a lavender scare, a witch hunt, a legacy of the Cold War, a time when people believed that being gay made you more likely to be a communist spy. A Canadian policy from the early 1960s laid it out. Sexual deviants, it read, are potential targets for blackmail and as such, poor security risks. Of course, if queer people hadn't been marginalized and persecuted, they wouldn't have been vulnerable to blackmail in the first place. But instead, their own government spied on them and subjected them to bizarre, intrusive psychological testing, tactics the KGB or the Stasi might have found familiar. Even after the Berlin Wall came down, the firings went on. People were humiliated. They lost careers, they lost friends, they lost trust in their own country. And that policy didn't change until 1992. 1992, that was just 25 years ago. And it wasn't until 1998 that the Supreme Court of Canada ruled Canada's Constitution should protect people from discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, after Delwyn Vriend, an Edmonton College instructor, fought what you might call the LGBTQ equivalent of the Persons case all the way to Canada's highest court. I'm still trying to understand for myself why I found Tuesday's apology so powerful. While I have many friends and relations who are members of the queer community, none of them was directly affected by this so-called gay purge. But I can't quite believe how far we have come in one generation, in my own lifetime. What a tribute to the courage of all those lesbian, gay, bi, trans, two-spirited, and other queer activists and survivors who fought so long and so hard and at such great personal cost for dignity and equality and love. What a powerful message to a new generation of queer youth and all young Canadians. Yes, we have work yet to do, but this is your country, a country where you're not just accepted or tolerated, but where you are celebrated and embraced and loved.